Hi everyone, my name is Shihab and I chose SongBird Generation as my topic to discuss today. So I hope you enjoy this topic with me and let's start. So what is a songbird? Songbird is one of the best model animals for the neuroscientific studies of human language, vocalization, and auditory processing. Many laboratories around the world, including molecular biology, physiology, acoustics, and ethology, are using songbird to answer the following questions. Why only humans have language, and also what's the neuromechanism of language. Next is the song structure. So bird song is considered to have syntax like human language, although it does not have semantics within itself. It doesn't have semantics within itself. So in most species in songbirds, only male sings while few species, both the genders or sexes, sing. One function of their song is considered to be the sexual attractions to females from the males singing. So below here you can see a typical song structure of songbirds. We can see about of several song elements called syllables or notes, and the waveform is depending on the frequency as the y-axis kilohertz and the time calculated in seconds. Interestingly enough, the song structure is expressed as a finite state automaton model, which can be regarded as high-order Markov process. The transition of notes are probabilistic, and song is expressed as probabilistic finite state transition diagram. As you can see here on the right, there is a starting point, and then there are the notes, which they include the self-looping and going from one note to another until it reaches the end. That's why we call it a finite state automaton model. Next, you can see the brain structure in front of you. So many researchers approached what's the neural mechanism enabling finite state vocalization. And there's one hypothesis, which is that the Markov chain-like representation within neurons in the motor areas. This figure in front of you is a neural pathway of vocalization. We can clearly see that there is a brain region named HVC on top, which is premotor area. Many neurons show activity phase locked to the song. HVC neurons are projecting to the RA, which is a shortage of robust nucleus of arcopoleum, which is the motor area, as you can see. And RA, or the robust nucleus of arcopoleum, outputs motor signal to muscles of vocal organ for the generation of song element. In here, the next figure, which is A, is another expression of finite state transition of song, where you can see that it goes to the right and then there are some jumps between the notes, but as you can see it's a finite state transition. And B is a simple model of HVC and RA neurons, which we talked about in the previous slide. The hypothesis assumes neurons in HVC are firing in turn like a chain. As you can see it clearly here, HVC being at the top and RA being at the bottom. Next, we'll talk about the WaveNet. WaveNet is a generative neural network model for raw audio file. The inputs and the outputs for the model are only waveform. Hence, this model itself does not assume that the syllables expressed with infinite state nor Markov chain. So as you can see, we said that the inputs are only waveform, so two inputs go together go up to the first layer of hidden layers, and then the two hidden layers from that layer go up to the next layer, and so on until it reaches the output, which is also a waveform, and then next two new inputs do the same thing on and on and on. As I said, that it does not assume that the syllables are expressed with the finite state. So it's either saying it's finite or infinite. It just doesn't assume that the syllables are expressed with the finite state. Alright, now we're gonna so the objective, what's the objective of this project? This project is combining latest machine learning result and knowledge of neuroscience about songbirds. So in one sentence we can say that the objective of this project is to use WaveNet to simulate birdsong. As I said before, birdsong itself is thought to have Markov model structure and syntax like human speech. However, the song itself has no semantics. If the mechanism should be similar between such birds and humans, WaveNet might be successful for simulating birdsong because it's successful in generating completely meaningless but local speech like sound waveform. Excuse me. So WaveNet itself does not use a Markov property of song. It only uses information of raw waveform. Therefore, if WaveNet succeeds in generating birdsong, where we are predicting to have the following informations being displayed or processed. First, being that the WaveNet might have an ability to embed Markov property. This is not really proved explicitly if we only generate human speech with this model. Second will be the representation obtained by trained model, as in the activation pattern of neurons in the model might be comparable with the neural representation in actual brain of songbird. Lastly, being the similarity between human speech and birdsong as syntax could be further supported. And now I'm gonna let you hear the two samples. The first being the original or natural birdsong, and the other sample will be the what you call it, the generated song. Yeah. So right now we're gonna listen to the original bird song by Shintaro Shiba. Alright everyone, and now let's take a look at the generated bird song, which is composed in this project. Let's hear it again. I thought that was really quick, so let's hear it again. Alright, so as you listen, so let's talk about the result. It sounds like the original song. The generated one really sounds like the original song. This is visualized image. Right now you're gonna see a visualized image or spectrum of the song. It tells us that the wave sound is a bit chattering though. As you can see, on your left is the simulated song spectrum, and on your right is the natural song spectrum of bird sound. As you can see, the frequency is really higher on the left one, and it shows that there are a little bit of background noises which they really need to work on. So it's not really perfect. The generated song is not really perfect in the meantime, and it's a bit chattering as you could hear before. So now let's talk about the discussion and future work. So the next step of this project would be to firstly investigate whether Markov chain structure in the generated song is similar to that in natural song. And then secondly, we will be comparing neural firing patterns known to date and activated neural pattern in the model. Lastly will be to generate other species songs such as finches, canaries, and so on and on. Alright, thank you. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this topic and this presentation. Goodbye.